The Ash, Lutzi and Susie O'Neill podcast.
Okay, so the Origin teams are out, Mitchell.
Yes, they are. Yeah, Maroons have been announced as of this morning. Blues last night. Maroons, pretty much as we expect. No changes made except for the ones that had to be. Unfortunately, with our boy, Jermaine Hopgood, is out with a back injury, and Selwyn Cobbo picking up an injury, which, I mean, it was news to me. I don't think he obviously got a head knock the other night, was sent off for an HIA. Come back on. He was doing 2 hit-ups a set at one stage, pro old Selwyn. He was really working for it in a terrible loss to the Bronx. I
thought he'd been dropped when I read the suggested team in the paper earlier this morning.
How could they?
And I was like, how the hell could that have happened?
I was on fire in that first game. Yeah, you just throw him in off the back of that alone. But yeah, he's out with an injury. So in comes Felice Kafusi, who was obviously 18th man and did play some minutes in game 1 once Reece Walsh went off. And Curdy Capewell from Auckland coming over and in straight into the 17. And then, Dane Gagai, obviously plenty of games under his belt in at 18th man. Highland Lukey and Trent Liero, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Trent Liero.
Neither do I.
I'm going to look him up.
Storm, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like where he's from or...
He's been playing well this year.
Yeah, he goes good, but I'm just... Okay, but where did he grow up? Sunshine Coast.
Oh, nice.
He attended Mountain Creek State High School, Sunshine Coast, before being signed by the Storm. Came through the Sunshine Coast Falcons. There you go.
Under the tutelage, I wonder if Jack Reed had
got
his mitts on him at any point.
Probably. Reed
would have, right?
Yeah, he's been doing that job for a while now.
Yeah.
Nearly 10 years he would have been doing that. When did he finish up with the Broncos? It was 16 or 17 or something.
Wouldn't it now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So he must be rotating. Billy must be rotating.
The extended squad?
The extended squad, because these are obviously people that he wants to bring into the camp,
System.
like give them a bit of a look.
Yep.
In the last game, he brought
Ezra
and Pia Cora in, and this time he's bringing in Liero and
Smart.
Lukey.
and Lukey, and it's obviously a way of saying, guys, you're this close. You're this close to actually coming in. I got my eye on you, and this could be you one day. Pretty good. Like, I mean, that imagine how much that would be an incentive to these young players.
Well, especially someone like Trent, because Billy obviously hangs around the Melbourne Storm still and plays a little bit of a part. He's not an assistant coach or anything, but for him to sort of, get the call up. And
he did it with Jermaine last year. Jermaine came in and was one of the either 19 or 20 last year. Mm-hmm. I don't think they get paid to be a part of it. I know the 18th man gets the 30 grand, but I think 19 and 20, it's more sort of just
experience.
An experience thing.
Yeah. What about you, Buzz? As a Blues man, Buzz, I know you were saying that if we obviously the big call about game 1 was Selwyn. It was like, in hindsight, it seemed like a masterstroke that we lose Reece after 7 minutes, and then Hammer goes back to fullback. Selwyn goes into the centres, and both of them had an absolute blinder. They didn't go for that this time. We obviously get Kurt Capewell coming in, who has played in the centres for Queensland before through injury and stuff. How do you see it? Because you were like, if we lost a forward, we don't have anyone to cover it.
Yeah,
whereas this time we obviously do have an extra forward thrown in there.
Yeah, I think I would be more worried as a Blues fan if Cobbo was in your 17. But then if I kind of think about who else could have replaced him, I don't know if there's too many others that are standing out. Like, if Dane Gagai came in, I wouldn't be as worried, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart move from Billy. I think both teams have done something pretty similar where they've got someone who can come in and cover the forwards, but also the backs, with obviously Connor Watson coming into the New South Wales team.
It's much more like, nothing against Teddy, but the fact that Dylan Edwards was obviously the first choice fullback for game 1, the fact that he is there. Latrell, if he wants to play, he can play very well, and I think that he will come out and be real. I mean, I think the best thing Queensland can do and the media can do is talk about how amazing Latrell is for the next week and a half, because he seems to get really pissed off when you go after him. So we just need to forget about the bloke. What about, would you obviously rather him than like Bradman Best come back and played a really good game yesterday and obviously had a really good debut for the Blues when he made it, last year?
Yeah. I think Latrell, I would have chosen Latrell in the first place, I think. I would have chosen him for game 1. I think they need a strike player. I'm surprised that you guys haven't gone with Fafita, to be honest with you. I think, again, as a New South Wales fan, like Latrell would probably worry you guys, I'd be worried with Fafita on that team.
He must have done something.
That's what I mean.
Because
his form's not been bad.
I don't think it's been too bad, but there must be, like they keep saying, it's just those little things in his game that you probably wouldn't notice just being a fan of football and watching it on television. Like his off the ball play, like what his line speed is like coming up.
He's not a great defender.
That maybe he's a bit lazy sometimes, but geez, he's devastating. Like he's one of those guys that you give him the ball on one of those runs a couple of metres out, he can just skittle people. But from the New South Wales point of view, I'm glad that you didn't pick Burton.
Yeah, well, he would have got a bench spot.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's a great cover, like could play a number of
I mean, you
different
lose
positions.
a half, you whack him in there, he's got that kicking game.
Or even to throw, like when we have Ben Hunt out there and we've got three halves, you had Burton in there as an interchange player. You could have had any number of the kickers that are out there. And
I think
those
the
big
issue
bombs.
with Burton is, so Connor Watson covers dummy half, lock. He can play in the outside backs. Burton he can play in the outside backs in the halves.
Yeah, but Connor Watson can't do those kicks like Burton does.
but Mitchell Moses has a pretty good, and then you've also
No,
got,
oh, no,
you've
I'm
got,
just-
I tell
I'm
you
just
who else
saying-
has got a massive boot, Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah.
He did against the Broncos on the weekend, just gone.
But those Moses, that's whew, that's an Origin winner, I reckon. That's
The-
what I'd be.
the
That's what
Burton
I'd be.
ones.
Sorry,
Burton.
Well, I think it's
Burton.
I'm with you. Like,
No, who does the crazy one?
Burton.
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 Yeah, that's a potential game.
Especially in the wide arena of the
That's what I
MCG.
mean.
Like a bit of wind catches that. That
Yeah.
ball goes that high and a bit of breeze catches that.
That's like that night that for the Bronx when sorry, I'm having complete brain fade right now.
you're thinking of Chevy Stewart when they played against Canberra.
Yeah, it was Stewart.
Yeah.
And what's his name was kicking?
Renault.
Renault. That was
No, terrorised that
that
poor
was
kid.
just almost like farcical.
Yeah.
That you couldn't get near it. You get a bit of wind up there, and
Trell's got a big boot though.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, either one of them, if they're going to go back after Reece,
No,
and they
no
will.
one's got a boot like Burton. Burton probably the biggest boot ever in the game. Like he'd have to be one of those players that, like post footy, can go over to the States
He'll have to.
and make
He'll
squillions
have
for an
to.
NFL club.
Yeah.
Like surely he could be a punter for an NFL club.
Throw him out there, be a punter, get back off, take your millions. Yeah.
No, he'll have to, surely.
It's
He's got a better boot than anyone in the AFL.
It's got to be on his radar. Like what would he be on at Canterbury? He'd be on like say-
800 maybe?
Yeah, maybe 800. You know,
Max.
call it even 900. Like he could.
He's
what's
only
a punt-
24 as well.
what's a
He's
pun-
just turned 24.
What's a punter earn? Average punter wage. Average
1.5
punter wage
American.
NFL. Yeah, 1.5. You're right, and that's American. Okay, so you call that 2 mil every day. Not getting injured, coming on to kick the ball 3 or 4 times a game. Like he's got to be sitting there thinking,
You don't have to
I could
live.
definitely do that. And the maximum
That's the
salary
ultimate.
giving to an NFL punter is $3.75 million a year.
not that much. You're not going to win or lose games like a kicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And-
one job. That's pressure.
And on top of that, if they need to, he can kick some ass. Like he can make a tackle. He could probably tackle better than most of the NFL players.
He's a big body.
Yeah, he can run.
Yeah, running would be a risk. High risk. One job you fake and go for a run. Does that happen very often in NFL?
Oh, every now and then you see it, I guess. But
Do you reckon he'd wear a headgear underneath his helmet?
that could be his gimmick. I don't need headgear. I'm an Aussie. I played rugby league. Look it up.
The Ash, Lutzi and Susie O'Neill podcast.